Now we're at Hungo, Pavi. Welcome to Revisiting History. This is the Chaco Great House, occupation AD 1000 to 1250s. Like I said, as we know, Chaco Canyon was abandoned a little bit earlier than the southwestern Colorado, northern New Mexico area. Let's go take a look. You can almost see like a triple masonry. You can see stones within stones. You don't see that up north, but it might just be filled in from the stacking from them falling. What you're seeing right here is multiple layers here. You're seeing wood there, and then you're also seeing a layer above it. That might even go up to 3 or 4 floors like we have in the Aztec ruins. Of course, you got the windows, the doors. The doors here at Chaco, like I said, they've been mostly rectangular, not the T-shape that we get in the San Juan County area. But instead here, you have same windows, same structural build with the masonry, with the big bricks, and then the small bricks wedged in between. But the difference is you have layering that I haven't seen, and then as well, this is going to go up probably almost all the way to the rim of that when it was prehistoric times. Like I said, this would have been more than likely almost all the way up to the canyon wall, probably 3 or 4 layers. I mean, if you count down here as one floor as well, which it more than likely was, this would have looked like a pre-Columbian La Quinta with the size that it is. I mean, it's absolutely humongous, and it just goes on for hundreds of rooms. You can see here, we got another room, another room, another room. And the funny thing is we're not running into the gray whack that we saw incorporated almost decoratively into the ruins we've seen previously. Now we got a nice, interesting wall coming up here on the right side. I don't know what that is. We'll get closer and take a look. But you can see the rooms, they just go on one after another, after another, after another, after another. And these aren't small rooms like we've seen before. These are quite large rooms. I mean, you could probably house up to 10 and 15 people in one of these. I don't have actual numbers on this civilization, but it had to have been large. Just based on the amount of people that lived here, the amount of rooms that are here, the size of the rooms that are here. And when those droughts hit this area, and food became unavailable, and water became unavailable, and it became the point where people would cross boundaries into cannibalism and do things that they normally wouldn't do. Now, in Aztec, I've asked, there's no evidence of that. In salmon, I've asked, there's no evidence of that, but we don't really know 100% sure. Lack of evidence isn't proof of anything. If you look here, you can see some of the wooden struts that would have come across. Here we got smaller ones. Over there, they were a little bit thicker. So you had thicker trees, smaller trees. But the funny thing is, you look out here, where are the trees at? What are they using for wood? It's not these. They would have had to bring that in from quite a distance. And we know for a fact that in Aztec, they had brought trees down from Durango, Colorado. So a whole different state. It's absolutely intriguing information. And there's no waterways. There's no way to raft your wood in from here. Path inside of one of the grand houses here. And you can see here we got, these are small wooden struts. So they would have been using probably local wood for these. As you get out further, in fact, we can see some of them even closer now. These would have been ventilation. And then you have the wooden struts, and I think these are original. Maybe not, maybe not. That's a drill hole. Maybe not original, maybe reconstructed, but still, look at this place. Just massive, massive, massive compared. I have a friend who says he lives on some land that's even bigger than this. Not this, maybe bigger than Aztec ruins. But I mean, you just keep going, you see more rooms, more rooms, more rooms. This is really interesting. This is the first time I've actually ran into the exact same type of infrastructure as far as masonry goes. You start to see the small masonry integrated with the large masonry at a pretty high rate. So for instance, 3, 4, 5 stones, or you have 1, 2, 3 high. It's much different than the type of masonry we saw on the last pueblo. But like I said, very, 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 very small thin stones, and then you'd have maybe a layer. And let's just track that layer and see how far it goes. They stay consistent with it up until about here, and then they throw in a few small stones. That's pretty interesting. I don't understand the entire I'm wondering what they used for the mortar. That's my biggest question, because after 1,000 years, it's still held up to this day. I know houses and buildings within my city that haven't lasted that long. So to say that these structures are still in beautiful condition, I mean, granted, they've had a few bumps over the years, but that's how things go. But obviously, stone lasts longer than, you know, what's it called? Wood or drywall. That's the one I was looking for. Look at that, man. It just keeps going and going. Flip around this way. Canyon wall. And we would be coming up right on the area where the first floor is down there, second floor maybe. Third floor is coming up right here. If I can get a little bit further ahead, you'll see the third floor would probably be about here. Fourth floor would be right about there. And then you can see it continue along this path. These beautiful, beautiful, beautiful airways. Their windows are excellent in the summertime. I remember coming out during 100-degree heat and going into one that was fully enclosed. And the temperature was cooler than my own house without any air conditioning. Look at that. I wonder if these align with the solstices at all. Look at that beautiful shot through that hole. That's crazy. Wow. That's just through their windows, imagine. And then from that side looking out. So that's the last of that site. And I'll tell you, no matter where you go in this canyon, I can't beat this dead horse enough, but I feel like this is a place where you'd want to live. This is a place with high ground. It's got safety. At the time, probably had food and water. And then, of course, we know the tragedy that befell Chaco. I'm coming out here with Chaco, with myself, and revisiting history, seeing the Chaco culture, the Anasazi, and really getting into it. I mean, this place is insane. It's got structures everywhere. I encourage everybody to make a pilgrimage out here at some point. Chaco, Mesa Verde, I haven't been there yet, but that's on the list, and we're taking them off, man. We're at Chetro Ketl, and this one's going to be $8.50 to around $12.50. And again, like I said, these ones would have petered out a little bit before the ones up north in Aztec or northern San Juan County. We had a little bit of sign. Cool, so it says that it's the largest Chaco and Great House and covers more than 3 acres. So whenever we get there, there's a little bit of a walk, but you can see it off in the distance there. It's going to be the largest Chaco and Great House, over 3 acres. Let's go take a look. It's funny because on the path to Chetro Ketl, you can see Pueblo Bonito right there. And that wraps around into a whole nother site with some more petroglyphs further back in the complex. However, for today, we're hitting the ones that are pretty close because it's still a tad warm. You can see where it starts right here, keeps tracking, goes up. And like I said, I assume you could see it over there. I'm assuming it goes all the way up. And then we got more rooms. 1, 2, 3. In the back, 4, 5. Look at that one. That one's unique. I assume this would have been for something important. You've got the steps. You've got the pillars on the sides. It feeds back into the back. And then not just that, but it's in the center of this complex, which you can see more over that direction. But, I mean, just in this complex alone, you got 25, 30 rooms probably. And not just that, but they're all layered in this manner that you can see here. And there's the beauties. Look at these mountains, man. It's like everywhere you go, no matter what you end up running into, the exact same canyons for miles and miles around. But here we are. Oh, petroglyphs that way. Okay, we'll be going that way next. Look at these massive builds. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 floors here. And who knows about these things? They've been gone for so long, it's hard to even tell. I think we got a kiva. Yeah. Looks like a kiva here, except without any of the columnar stones. Now we're getting more into the San Juan tradition of seeing the stones kind of irregular, but still making it work. God, that is. And then, like I said, that would be one floor, 2 floors, 3 floors at least, possibly going up all the way to the canyon wall like we've seen at the other sites. And then again in here, you can see where they would have been. And again, they're always layered for some reason, but we do have the... Is there a column in this one? You can see, oh, we got a little T-shaped area. And then I think that'd probably be a window into the room next. A lot of times the doors were kept small, the windows were kept small on purpose to make sure nobody's coming in after you. It reminds me more than anything of almost like a fortress wall, but they weren't worried about being hit by cannonballs here. And even from those to these, we have different constructions. So it looks like different masons created these. You can see the very, 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 very small use of these stones. And of course, then with the integration of the large stones, it's less regular here, but a lot more of the smaller stones were used in these than you can. And then I'll back up so you can even see. That's a full wall. How small these stones are. They're literally, if I could fit a few in my hand, I mean, got some more layers. Like I said, again, this would have been, that right here, this right here would have been at least 3 floors tall. And then some sort of staircase. Get a little bit of look inside. And then that's just kind of like your average Anasazi or Chaco room. Again, the beam supports. You got 1 floor at least, probably more on the other side. So that put us 2, maybe 3. That's massive. That's about twice my height right there. And hopefully we can get a look at it from the front. Ideally. Nice. I didn't realize we were going to be able to go in. Cool. I'm all for it, man. Oh, says trail. And then look at that. You can't even... Here, you've got more of a T structure, but that doesn't look purposeful, or it would be one after another. And then down there, I think it would be the great house. Looks pretty large to me. Again, this room here, be nice to see inside, but oh yeah, look at that. Whoa, this goes underground. Okay, interesting. Didn't think that was going to be there. That one doesn't seem to. Again, that one doesn't seem to, but going underground wasn't necessarily like that out of the norm for the Chaco. And like I said, most of their best ventilated rooms are underground. And I mean, again, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of rooms. Whoa. That's about a good 10, 12 foot drop. And then you got more. And then again, another roundhouse. Let's look at this one. Oh, look at that. Wow. That's astonishing. Look at that. What is that? I know these have been used to cover entrances or doors in the past in certain areas, but here it looks like we got a well area or something, and then these little keyhole areas remind me a lot of Aztec, but again, we're missing any of the pillars. Again, you have areas where you can sit down or storage areas, but we're missing any of the pillars. Thank you guys all for coming out here to Chaco. I really do appreciate it. You guys are what keeps the fuel in my blood moving. I really do appreciate it. Make sure to check us out. More coming up at Revisiting History Chaco. I followed this down, and now I don't know if those columns weren't there, but that was. So we got an underground system here, and you can see it kind of curve down that direction. It's crazy.